Now we're going to go through the used oil blending system. So what we have here is a hopper. It's a storage tank that's plumbed into the pump that pumps down the used oil from the engine. So when you do an oil change on the engine, we have a piping system that'll pump the oil directly into this storage container, and it's held in here. Then we also have a basket here where the filters can be put in upside down to allow the filters to drain out, so that used oil also goes into the hopper. So this is basically just a storage container for the used oil. Then this system is plumbed into the day tank system, and what we have is a set of pipes. One pipe comes off the day tank to bring diesel fuel out of the day tank into the large pump. Another pipe comes off of the used oil tank, and it brings the used oil in through the smaller pump. Then the oil is filtered and blended with the diesel fuel, and it goes through 3 stages of filtration. We have a primary filter, secondary, and then a final filter. And then the final blended and filtered product runs back into the day tank. The system is set up to run automatically, so each time the day tank does a fill cycle, then the used oil blending system will run. And we could see that this green light will turn on. So I'm going to go over and I'm going to start a day tank fill cycle. And then we see it in normal operation. On the control panel for the used oil blender, we have a few alarm lights. We have one that's a low used oil level. This is just a warning light. It doesn't really indicate a problem. It just means that all the oil in the hopper has been used up. Then we have a primary filter plug, secondary filter plug, final filter plug. And these are trouble lights. If you end up with a plugged filter, then the system will not work until you change the filter and reprime it and start it back up. Okay, then basically this system is set up. There are normally open valves on the fuel oil, diesel oil coming in, and the lube oil coming in. And in the event of a clogged filter, if you needed to service it, you'd have to close these valves. Then there are drain valves on the bottom that allow you to drain off the used oil, the diesel blend, in order to change out the filter. And then there are different styles of filters. On this style, there's a V-band. You break the band on the top. The filter element pulls out of the top. Then you install it. And you need to check the filter book and the manual and make sure you get the right filter. Generally, it's a coarser filter on the primary going to a finer filter by the final one. And so in your operation manual, you should have the specs on the filter. Make sure whenever you change it, you put the right element back in. And when you do a filter element change, after you install the new element, you want to fill the canister back up to the top with diesel fuel to prime the system so it'll flow. So before you install the lid, you want to make sure you fill it back up, and then you want to make sure you get a good seat on this V-band so it doesn't leak. So you have to be real careful with the installation on the top to get a good seal.